Russia reducing personnel at Zaporizhzhia nuclear plant.
Here's a summary of the article.
Kyiv, June 30. Russia is gradually reducing the number of personnel at the occupied Zaporizhzhia nuclear power station in southern Ukraine, Ukraine's military intelligence agency said on Friday. Kyiv accused Russia this month of planning a terrorist attack at the nuclear plant involving the release of radiation. According to the latest data, the occupation contingent is gradually leaving the territory of the Zaporizhzhia nuclear power plant, main Directorate of Intelligence at the Ministry of Defense said on the Telegram messaging app. Gore said the number of military patrols was also gradually decreasing on the plant's vast territory and in the nearby city of Enerhodar, and personnel remaining at the plant had been told to blame Ukraine, in case of any emergency situations. Ukraine conducted nuclear disaster response drills on Thursday in the vicinity of the plant. Kyiv and Moscow have accused each other of shelling the vast complex at the Zaporizhzhia nuclear power station, Europe's largest. Ukraine, then part of the Soviet Union, suffered the world's worst nuclear accident in 1986 at the Chernobyl nuclear power plant.
This post received a score of 5,200, with an upvote ratio of 97%. Here are the top comments in response to this article.
Russia. We are not blowing up Zaporizhzhia and we are withdrawing personnel. Zaporizhzhia blows up Russia. It couldn't have been us.
Russia. Ukraine Seuss.
Belarus. I swear I saw Ukraine in the reactor room.
Top secret FSB footage shows Stepan Bandera himself was breakdancing inside the reactor room shortly before the detonation. Charred copies of Sims 3 were also found on site.
Well, Ukrainians are toppling Lenin statues, which is exactly the same thing as blowing up a Soviet-era nuclear station. Who else could it have been? China has warned Putin against any form of nuclear attack, including doing something to this plant. Hopefully that is some deterrent. But if they do it anyway, the rest of the world will not sit idly by.
IIRC China also warned Putin against blowing up the dam.
China warns.
China's final warning.
Don't know if it's good or bad. But knowing Muscovians, it is probably very bad.
Ukrainians keep warning that Russians are due to blow it up. Zelensky said he warned his allies but wasn't taken seriously. So, I would say the bad version is the correct one.
The US is saying they're only waiting for the go-ahead message.
Great. Won't be any response to stop the radiation from leaking out either. Russians will most likely leave the reactor to fuck up the surrounding areas so no one can go near it.
Which I believe would be grounds for World War. Not a very brilliant decision by Putin. Hopefully this scenario doesn't play out. But if it does, I hope the NATO response is swift and just.
We, as in, the West, fucked up the dam blast response, which was basically none. So Russians are working on their next step on the line.
If Russia does this, won't this very much affect Russia? Moscow is really not that far away and prevailing winds blow east to west, no?
It'll very much affect Russia when NATO straight up invades.
There are videos on YouTube of NATO building up 600,000 soldiers in Poland. Maybe they are preparing for that?
NATO outright said intentionally destroying a nuclear plant causing fallout to reach NATO territory would trigger Article. Poland alone needs exactly 0 reasons to facefuck Russia into the core of the planet.
They said nuclear fallout crossing a border into a NATO country could be a trigger for Article 5. People love to cite Article 5, and we all know that 9/11 was the only time in history that it's been triggered, but it's important to remember that it doesn't mean war starts. It means all NATO countries meet and decide how to react. Now, they do seem to be suggesting that triggering Article 5 would be a clear and defined line in the sand, but it's also a possibility that their response is a humanitarian one first and foremost, depending on the situation.
This video was automatically created by Reddit to speech. The article and comments in this video were selected from Reddit according to their upvotes, and any paraphrasing was performed by smmry.com, without any human intervention.